Yeah, we don't support it because.
Hi, Ursula.
Good to see you again.
How was?
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has launched a blistering attack on the European Union's Ukraine policy, warning that Brussels is pushing Europe dangerously close to a direct war with Russia. Speaking at a large anti-war rally in the southern city of Szeged, Orbán accused EU leaders of disguising escalation as financial assistance. Orbán claimed Europe narrowly avoided what he described as a declaration of war after failing to agree on a proposal to seize frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine. He said confiscating Russian money during an active conflict would have turned the EU into a direct party to the war.
Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Russian assets were almost on the brink of triggering a direct war threat in Brussels, but it was successfully averted. By seizing Russian assets, Europe would have sent a declaration of war to Russia, but we managed to intercept the carrier pigeon in time. That's what happened. In 1 minute, this happened. What is it about? Just so everyone feels the cold breath of the threat on their neck. 2 countries are at war with each other, Ukraine, Russia. A third party comes in who is not involved in the war, strong, the European Union, and seizes the Russian assets. The one who is at war takes those assets, talks about 230 billion, takes it away, and gives it to the other party at war. What is this if not a declaration of war? What can such a European Union be considered if not an enemy? And if it's an enemy, then we are already involved in the war.
The Hungarian leader singled out Belgium's Prime Minister, Bart de Wever, for blocking the plan, calling him a hero who withstood intense pressure in Brussels. Orbán said, Belgium, where much of the Russian money is held, raised serious legal and investor confidence concerns that ultimately derailed the proposal. While welcoming that decision, Orbán warned the EU's alternative, a $90 billion loan to Ukraine, still represents a dangerous escalation. He described it as a war loan, arguing that European taxpayers would ultimately bear the cost if Kyiv fails to repay it.
They decided to give a war loan. This is 90 billion euros at this moment. They are giving this war loan to Ukraine, which means that Ukraine will pay it back. Let it be so for me. Well, let the Szizure election win in Hungary, so that the Ukrainians pay back the loan. That's roughly what it means. We did not come in vain. We did not come in vain. So we have to give a loan to Ukraine. But there is another problem. Not only that they do not pay it back, but that we don't have the money. So what do we have to do? We also have to take out a loan. We provide a war loan to Ukraine, and if we don't have the money, we have to borrow from banks and lenders. The loan taken out must be sent to Ukraine. And when it turns out that the Ukrainians cannot pay, then what we gave them has to be paid nicely in London to the bankers on their behalf.
Orbán rejected claims that Hungary wants Ukraine to collapse, saying Budapest already supplies 44% of Ukraine's electricity and 58% of its gas. However, he argued, the war weakens Ukraine and drains Europe, insisting only peace can strengthen Kyiv. He accused Brussels of choosing sanctions over diplomacy, blaming EU measures for soaring energy prices and economic decline. Orbán said, Europe is now weaker, less competitive, and more exposed to conflict than at any point since the war began. Concluding his speech, Orbán warned that the threat of war remains high and urged Europeans to push for peace, saying only public pressure can stop leaders from dragging the continent into a wider conflict.